Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Now we're going to do a comparison review of all three of these Civilization games. I'm a big fan of Civilization games, having grown up with Civilization on the PC and Civilization 2. Julie doesn't mind them, but I'm always trying to look for a Civilization game that tries to recreate Civilization, the video game, without it being too fiddly. So Path of Civilization came out this year in the States in March. We got it at Dice Tower West, but it did premiere in the fall in 2023 in Europe. And this is for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up. It's about 20 minutes per player. And we played this about 3 times because it's so recent.
Right.
We're going to compare it to Seven Wonders, the 2-player version. It's called Seven Wonders Duel. And it's for 2 players, obviously, ages 10 and up. And it takes about 30 minutes. And this came out in 2015. And we've played this 15 times since we've owned it. Nations, this is the dice game version. There is a board game version which we have, but we haven't played it yet because we've played this 34 times. That's probably why we haven't played the board game version. This is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, about 20 to 40 minutes to play, and this came out in 2014. We got these soon after they were published, just like this one. Because like I said, I'm always trying to find a Civilization game that will satisfy my PC experience.
And I never played it on the PC.
No, you weren't much of a video game player. So we're going to be using our lightning review format.
Okay.
Oops, wrong. So we're going to look at the criteria on the left, and then we're going to give her a rating for each game.
Oh boy.
So we're going to look at are the games fun? And then we'll go over how it plays.
Okay.
So let's take a look here. We're going to be using the rule books. So Path of Civilization, would you say that's fun, yes or no?
Yes.
I agree. Seven Wonders Duel?
Yes.
And Nations, the dice game.
Yes.
Now, which one do you think is more fun?
More
if you had
fun?
to point, which one you would like, let's play right now.
Well, considering we've played this one the most, I would probably say Nations and then Duel. Although I really like this one, but this one seems a little bit more to get to the table, where these two are a little bit faster.
Okay, so you choose this one over this. So this one you haven't won as much.
No, I haven't.
But you still like to play it.
Because it's dice.
Right. Julie likes dice games a lot.
do.
And I would agree with, you know what though? I think I'd play Seven Wonders Duel over Nations dice now.
Yeah?
Because I've played it so much. This one I wouldn't play as often as the other two, and we're going to explain why. So let's talk about the gameplay. By the way, when I talk about the age level, 14 and up, that's just done for regulation purposes to avoid product testing. You can play all these games with the younger players. You just have to help them understand the icons, because pretty much everything is icon driven. So all 3 games involve scoring the most points by the end of the game. There are different ways to win though. This is score the most points. This one you can win by scoring the most points, or in Seven Wonders Duel you can get a military victory or a science victory. You see these icons here. If you get 6 of the 7 icons, you immediately win. In the military, there's a track here that's a tug of war. You'll see right here that little red icon there in the middle. If you pull that all the way to your opponent's side, I think it's your opponent's side or your side.
No, your side.
Yeah, your side, you win.
That's how I beat him once.
So Julie will win this game more often.
I will.
Yeah. Nations dice is also the same thing. Score the most points. So these two are the same in terms you got to play it all the way to the end, and you count up your victory points. This one, the game can end prematurely if you get the science or military victory.
Right.
So let's take a look at what you're doing here in Path of Civilization. You have different ways to score. You're developing technologies in different categories here. You have culture, science, spiritual, military, and industrial. And these are different technology ages. You can get points by improving your philosophy board here, getting philosophers. You can get ambassadors to get leaders that score points. Over here you have sages to deal with these challenges. And then you can get units here to deal with military challenges. So you're going to have different challenges that are either militarily or you just got to get certain technologies to get points. And so you can also get wonders. So you could use this to get the philosophy track up. You could use builders here to build wonders, and you can get ambassadors to get leaders. What's different than the other two games is that you're going to only have 5 cards each turn. You're going to start with basic technology, but then, for instance, if you move up your spiritual technology, if you place it on the left side, you'll get a philosopher, but if you use it on the right side of the track, there's ways to place cards in this game right here. You're either going to use it on this side where you get the B side, or later on, I think this is development, and that is trying to keep all the stuff together. You're either going to get the B side in the first part of the phase, or you're going to get the right side in the other part of the phase, or if you have a leader here, you can get both B or D.
Yep.
But the point is, you have to decide, you're going to use the left side of the card or the right side of the card, and you're going to have 5 cards, but you're only going to place 4, which means you are going to cycle through cards. So it's a little bit of a deck building game. You can see here you get leaders and wonders. And you're going to be moving up on the technology tracks here, spending these cylinders to move up on the different areas, as you see there on the left, to get better cards so you can get better stuff. And then eventually you have to deal with challenges. Either a challenge here, or you have to get certain technology to score the most points, or you have to have the most units and military legacy to defeat this particular battle. If you have more than 10 and you have more than other players, you get this first place benefit, then there's second and third place benefits. And like I said, you'll be building wonders and leaders. So it's very linear. You can skip technologies. It is possible, for instance, to get nuclear energy before other things. Yeah. So for instance, you could skip all the way here to not even do aviation and skip to nuclear energy, and you could be back here on this technology, but you advance quicker on this. That's depending on what cards you have. So you can have what's called anachronisms, where you could break history, so to speak. For instance, when you're playing the easy version of Civilization, the video game, it was fun to try to get tanks by Jesus Christ by 1 AD. That's when you were playing the easy version. That was always fun to try to do that.
Okay.
So it also comes with a compendium with all the cards and things like that. So you just got to manage your cards. It's very much a card management game where you're getting leaders, wonders, and technology. It makes sense, but you got to plan out.
A lot going on.
7 Wonders Duel.
I really like this one.
You have 3 ages, but whereas Path of Civilization goes from antiquity all the way to modern times, a little bit of futurism too. It even goes into the future with like AI technology and stuff like that. Whereas this sticks to antiquity before the Common Era, or if you're used to BC, before Christ, depending on which way you're used to, how you learned about it in school. But you have cards that are face up and cards that are face down, and you have 3 ages. And the reason why it's called 7 Wonders, because you're going to start out with, you're going to do a little bit of card drafting. You're going to have 8 wonders, and you're going to choose which wonders you can build. You don't have to build them, but if you do, they give you benefits. And like I said, here's a military track, and you got progress markers that you can also purchase. And so you are, unlike Path of Civilization, where it's technology driven and wonders and leaders, this is you're developing buildings. So there are different kinds of buildings that you'll be developing here. Let me get to the list. I tried to remember where all this stuff is. Okay, right here. So you have raw materials. Those are brown cards. Manufactured goods, gray cards like paper and glass. Civilian buildings, blue, that pretty much give you victory points. Scientific buildings, which give you those symbols. Commercial buildings and military buildings. And purple cards, which are guilds, which help you score in the 3rd age. And so you're using these cards, which help you build other cards. And it's similar to Path of Civilization. Some cards you want because it helps you get more ambassadors and philosophers, where these, you definitely want to create a tableau, so to speak, like you see right here, where they can build, you see there's stone, 3 clay, and 2 wood, which helps you build things, and they have some civilian buildings here, which is going to give 7 victory points, and that gives glass and paper. So this is probably age 2 right here. At the end of age 2, they might be going into age 3 with what they have there. They have some scientific buildings. All right, so nations dice. You also have ages, and you're going from antiquity to modern day, but no futurism. So it's similar to Path of Civilization in terms that you're going across 4,000 years of history. Here you have tiles that you're going to be placing, and I'll show the back here.
Yeah, that shows it well.
Here's a setup here. You'll see that you each have a civilization, and we're not talking about the expansions. The expansions for Seven Wonders Duel and Nations the Dice game actually improved the gameplay, but we're not reviewing that because there's no expansion for Path of Civilization since it's so brand new. But here you have your beginning empire here. In the basic version, they're the same. It doesn't matter that it's the Egyptian or Greece. They have the same starting dice there. However, here they're showing you some cards some tiles that they've acquired, some progress tiles. And so you're going to roll dice and spend those dice, whereas in Path of Civilization you're spinning cards, and in Seven Wonders Duel you're acquiring cards with other cards that you've already acquired to score victory points at the end. Whereas here you're going to use dice and those chits, they call them chits here, you're going to be using different resources that are rolled on the dice. As you'll see here, stone, gold, books, food, strength, which will give you victory points, and you have re-rolls. So you're rolling the dice based on the tiles you've acquired here through different ages, which will give you victory points and better dice. So usually you start out with white dice here, and eventually you'll trade those in for blue dice, which will give you more stone, for instance, or gold dice will give you more gold, or red dice will give you more strength. Because you're also going to have events that come up, if I show on this board here. Like this event here, you want to have 3 food at the end of a turn to get 2 victory points, and you want to have at least 2 strength for a war to get 2 victory points. And if you have more knowledge or books than other players, you go up on this track, and this is where you keep track of your victory points here. And this is where you'll acquire tiles. And this bottom roll, it's cheaper. You either cost 1 gold or 1 strength, because that's what that 1 times. This one here would cost 2 gold, and up here it would cost 3 strength or 3 gold to acquire these tiles. So this tile, for instance, if you acquire it in the first turn, for instance, for the next 3 ages, you'll be able to get a free stone that you can use as a chit. So you're just using your resources to build wonders, the green tiles or colonies. And for instance, this is an upgrade of a building where you'll, instead of a white die, now you get a red and a white die. And you'll be, again, building up your civilization. You get an advisor here, or I call them leaders, where this leader will give you 2 re-rolls. And so, and this is where they're going to hopefully build this wonder and add it to their civilization. Here they've added already 2 colonies, which both of them give books, which will also help give victory points. So, dice driven. Both of these are card driven. Antiquity to modern day, so 4,000, some futurism here. This is definitely more card management. This is dice management. So that's a little bit how to play. Now that's the most, we covered the gameplay there. The theme, they're all 3 civilization games. Mm-hmm. The art. So let's talk about that. There is some controversy here. I didn't realize this, but Path to Civilization was made with AI art. Uh-oh. Which means, if you're aware of the situation with AI, depending on what program they used, is based on art that was stolen.
Oh, gosh.
And so there are ways to use AI where you've paid a licensing fee, and the art that's used in that AI program, the licensing fees go to the artists that they've loaded into it.
Okay.
I doubt they did that.
Oh, no.
Okay, for instance, there's a music video by Unleash the Archers. Remember where it was rotoscoped and she's walking around like an animated character? It says in the very beginning of the video that it was used AI art created through licensing of this particular artist. So they actually loaded in that artwork from the artist, and they've actually paying the artist
Well, that's what it should be.
Right. So I doubt they paid a licensing fee, and if they
boy.
did do a licensing fee, I doubt it went to the artist. So some people will not buy this game. Now the art looks good, but
Oh, yeah.
this particular building here, either it was a photo or somebody drew it in the past, and they basically are not paying for the rights to that.
Oh, that's not cool.
Okay, so the art looks good, but if you have a problem with AI art, you don't want to get this game.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is Seven Wonders Duel Nations dice were before AI art was readily available, and the art is great, especially on the wonders here.
Really
for
pretty.
for Seven Wonders Duel. Okay, this is high-end art. Looks great. Nations, the dice game, probably has the weakest art. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. Okay.
But it's
It's just not as good as Seven Wonders Duel. So this is decent. Oops. What am I trying to do here?
I don't know, honey.
Okay, so Seven Wonders Duel has the best art.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
This is decent. It's not the greatest.
No.
It's not the worst either.
No.
The art's nice, but it's stolen.
Stolen. Yeah, that's
Okay,
not.
they didn't license it. They're not paying the artists that those databases
That
were
makes me
based on.
sad.
It is sad, and that's why some people have a problem with it.
Would
Now
you
again,
have bought that if you knew that beforehand?
don't know. I haven't made a decision yet.
I wouldn't have.
Okay, yeah. So we didn't know. I haven't made a decision on it yet if that's a stance we're going to take.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. So now the next one category is complexity.
No components.
Oh, components. So they all have quality to average components. The dice are etched dice. This is quality.
Yes.
The tiles are adequate thickness, but the board where you keep score and you put the tiles on,
Really
and your civilization boards are thin,
Yeah.
and so it's below average on that. So it's below average to quality dice to average tiles.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture. These don't have linen finish. They're decent cards. We have them sleeved because we're
Right.
playing so much and you shuffle a lot. The boards are nice, and the token, the military token, is plastic. So this is average, pretty much all the way around.
Yeah.
There's
I
nothing.
agree.
There's nothing below average.
No, I agree.
Here, you have average
Yeah.
to quality. Like for instance, the stands here where you put the challenges. Well, one thing I do want to point out. So this is quality
Yeah.
thickness. This is a
That's nice.
a board where you can what's it called? It's a board that has it's a double layered board, so that way when you put the cylinders in, they won't fall
They
out.
won't fall out. Yeah, I like
So
that.
that's quality. This is quality thickness. This
That's
right
nice.
here, this is vacuum sealed. So it's not a quality tray. This is wood here. The cards are decent. So this has, like I said, average to quality.
Sure.
However, I got to point out though about the components for this. It took forever to put the stickers on this.
It did. He did it.
And
It
so,
took him a long time.
If I knew if I had to put the stickers on that and had AR, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. Because you'll see there's a sticker here and a sticker on the other side of all these vacuum trays. Probably took me an hour to put it on because I'm the type that will do it well and I don't want to mess up on it. So you got to understand is you got to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 50 stickers on.
It's a long time.
It took me an hour
Yeah, it
to
did.
do it. So I do not, if you don't want to put stickers on, I don't recommend that.
Don't do it.
So that was the components.
Next is complexity.
Complexity. Well, Board Game Geek. This is the more complicated one,
I agree.
Path of Civilization, simply because there's just a lot of things to keep track of.
Oh,
So this is a 2.75, which isn't bad, okay? Because once the first time, I'll talk about the rule book in a minute.
okay.
First time there's a learning curve. After that, it goes pretty
True.
quick, okay?
True.
But there is a learning curve.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
This is a 2.23 according to Board Game Geek, which is not as complicated. And this is a
Right.
2. Okay. However, the rule books are problematic for Nations Dice, and there's some referencing issues here with Seven Wonders Duel. But in terms of complexity, if you've got the rules down, yeah, even then, Path of Civilization is more complex.
It is. There's a lot going on.
Right. Okay, so the next one is playing time. It's accurate. 20 minutes per player. The only reason why this took longer on camera because we're stopping to explain things.
Right.
30 minutes. In fact, we can get this done in 25 minutes.
Probably.
And same with here. This is 20 to 4 minutes. We can play this in 20 minutes. It goes pretty quick once you're used to it.
Once you're used to it.
So the playing time is accurate for all these.
Yes.
40, 30, and 30, but you can get these even quicker.
Yeah, I agree.
Age and audience. Remember, this was 14 and up, 14 and up. That's regulation purposes. You can play all these games, with a third grader or even a second grader if they're used to playing hobby games.
Okay.
If they're not used to playing hobby games, then you gotta go older, fourth or fifth grade, which would be what, 12-year-old, 10 to 12-year, 10-year-old is third grade, 11, 12 is fourth.
Fourth.
Yeah. So this depends on how experienced a young person is with these games. If they're our boys would have been able to play this at age 8, no problem.
Yeah.
Because they started playing games like Star Wars Miniatures and Magic the Gathering when they were 7. So they had no problem with that. Just depends on how experienced your youngster is. Okay, design mechanics.
That's all you.
I did talk about in the very beginning. This is very linear. And that's probably why we won't play this as much. And if we don't end up playing it more often, we might go on the sell pile. Because it's pretty much, what's going to drive this game is what challenges and battles are going to be coming up. Because you have a deck that you're going to draw from, and that's what's going to change. You're always going to have a culture, military, industrial, and scientific challenge, but you're always going to have 4 battles. And so what I can see, what drives your decisions is what technologies are you going to acquire during the game, and leaders and wonders that randomly come up. So there's some randomization here, and randomization in terms of what wonders will come up right here, okay, and what leaders come up, which they don't show here yet because it's the first turn of the game. But you are going to draw so many leaders and wonders per age right here. So what really drives this game are these cards up above. And so you can get a little bit of analysis paralysis here of deciding what am I going to go for. There's plenty of cards that you can get here. So you're not going to be beating anybody to technology cards, but you could beat them to the wonders and eventually when the leaders come up here. So very linear. Seven Wonders Duel, the mechanics, the reason why we enjoy this so much is because there's surprises here. You don't know. There's always some cards that are missing in the deck. And cards will build on each other. Like if you get a card in this age, it can help you build something in age 2. And what you can do is you can decide, I don't want to, in terms of player interaction, I know Julie might want a particular card here that I don't want. I can discard it to build a wonder or to get gold for it. So I can deny Julie something or buy it before she gets it. And you have surprises here as to if we take these 2 cards, this card will be revealed. And that's part of the fun, is you don't know what you're going to get and in what order. And because you can go for military or scientific victory, that also drives a little bit of race there. And you got to keep an eye on what your opponent's going for. It says, oh, I better deny Julie the opportunity to move on the military track here. Because she did that once to me, and I says, you know what, she's going to beat me. I can't stop her. Even if I get a card that's in that pyramid,
I still have too many.
she still was able to get something else, and so I knew I was going to lose because I wasn't focusing enough on military. So the player interaction here is a lot higher. This has the most player interaction out of all of them.
Agreed.
This has the least player interaction because all you're going to do here is maybe deny somebody a leader or a wonder.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Nations Dice, like Seven Wonders Duel, there'll be cards, there'll be tiles right here on this board that you might acquire before someone else, especially the cheaper ones down here that are ×1 or before the ×2 and ×3. So there is a race factor here. There's a little bit more player interaction and just getting something before somebody else does.
True.
So in terms of design and mechanics, this will lead itself to analysis paralysis depending what challenge cards and battles are to come up. Here there's more surprises and more player interaction. Here there's surprises in the counter mix of what tiles are going to come out because you don't play with the whole stack. And you're denying maybe a player something that they want. For instance, there might be a wonder that in the brown one there that Julie might get before me because she knows that I have the stone to complete it, and so she may stop me from getting that wonder. So then she can deny me stuff.
But there's also, the dice that messes with stuff too. Where these is just cards.
Right. Well, you have the same thing.
Yeah.
Your resources are dice, these are cards,
Yeah.
and here the resources are cards.
Right.
But in terms of design mechanics, this has the most player interaction. And this is why I'm liking this more now
Yeah.
than this game.
I might have to agree
And this
with
game.
that. Yeah. I think I agree with that.
Okay, so learning the rules. Okay, so this is... There's actually some really good things here in Path of Civilization. What made it hard is that when it talks about setup here and content description, all this right here, it refers to things that you have no idea what they're talking about at first. And you're like, what are they talking about? What do they mean? So you got to spend, it's out of context. So there's a learning curve getting over these first 9 pages. Playing the game, this is actually very well written with excellent summaries. But you got to get to this page first or be more flexible reader. I have to understand what I'm reading as I go along. As I'm reading something and they're referring to something, I say, what does that mean? And then I got to look ahead. That's the only problem with this rule book. It's actually well done, except for the context.
Yeah.
I think it might have been better to start out just with setup and go right into this.
Sure.
Because these summaries are excellent. And there's not too many things that I had to mark in here. So once you get over those first 9 pages, it's a breeze to learn. Seven Wonders Duel, it suffers from context as well. And the reference guide here, which is helpful, but you got to look on here, and then not everything's on the reference guide, so then you got to look in here anyway.
Oh, darn.
So when you're playing it, you're like, oh, it's not on the reference guide. Where is it at in here?
Oh, shoot.
Because it's very icon driven. And the same thing with Path of Civilization. You got to look at the compendium for what some things mean.
Right.
So for those challenge cards and battle cards, you might have to, or when certain leaders come up, you might have to look it up. And it's well laid out. Okay, it's not a problem. But so the only thing about, and there was one rule that we played wrong that's not adequately
right.
explained here. Now, Nation's Dice is the worst rule book. Because the setup, it talks about it here.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. And you need to look on the back of the rule book to understand what the heck they're talking about.
Oh, darn.
I remember having a hard time getting through this. And I just had to read it more than once. Okay, I get it now.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, once you understand it, it's pretty easy. But
Yeah.
this rule book, this is the worst rule book to read if you're not an experienced rule book reader. These two are about the same. This one's probably the easiest one compared. This one, like I said, the first 9 pages can be difficult to understand because of the lack of context.
Last one I think is educational.
Yeah. All right, so if you're a homeschooler, all 3 of these are great to play with your child. You could have discussions about history. If I had an after-school club, or if I was doing a small group instruction for like pull out gifted and talented, I would use these. I could use all 3 of these games for gifted and talented if I had small groups. Okay. Because you can tie enough standards to this
Okay.
and have discussion about it. This is the easiest one to use with younger people. These two would be the hardest because there's so many icons. So if you're playing this with children or even teenagers, you got to be there to help them understand what's going on. You cannot leave the table and say, okay, figure it out. You got to be playing with them. So for that reason, I would not use any of these games for total class instruction. AP, honors, maybe nations dice, you could do it. But you'd have to spend a period teaching them, helping walk it through.
Right.
But they would have to be experienced gamers just to take turns and use the dice, because just the fact that you roll the dice once, and then how do you use the chits to re-roll things can be very difficult. So this would be maybe the only one I would try with total group, but they'd have to be very experienced. So small group, in any small group, whether it's homeschooled or a gifted and talented group or a after school, you have to be there with them, playing with them. They are all great excuse me, for tying into standards.
Okay.
You can do lessons around this. Okay, so now we get to
The fun part.
the rating.
Okay.
So what do you think of, let's go with the latest one.
Okay, Path of Civilization.
How would you rate it?
I would say 7.
Yes, right now it's a 7.
Yeah.
We're usually willing to play. But it could drop down because we have these other ones we'd rather play.
Definitely.
Who knows how long we will keep this.
Right.
Maybe an expansion will come out and make this
Maybe.
make the rating go up. Right now, the way it is, it's only a 7. I agree with you on that.
Okay.
It's usually willing to play. But it could drop down to a 6 if it doesn't get to the table over the next year. So, Seven Wonders Duel, what do you rate this one?
A 9.
A 9. Okay, excellent. Very much enjoy playing. We've had it since 2015. I give it a 10. I will always enjoy playing this.
I really like playing it. I don't win very often, but I do enjoy it.
Well, you beat me more in this one than this one.
Because I've been playing military.
So this is a 10 game for me.
Yeah, a 9 for me.
And playing with the expansion, we play with one of the expansions. We haven't opened up the third expansion
Oh.
or the second expansion.
Okay.
And it adds deities and things like divinity.
Oh,
But even just on its own,
yeah.
it's a 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Nations, the dice game. What do you rate that?
Yeah. It's kind of dropping down for me.
Okay, what do you rate it?
I'd probably say a 7.
A 7?
Yeah,
And is it because you don't win too much at it?
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I love dice, but this one just is really always so hard for me to be real competitive in.
Yeah, well, Julie has a problem with this game when you watch the playthrough of being competitive and upgrading her dice.
Yeah,
Sometimes she doesn't.
I struggle.
You're not as aggressive in that, and
No.
that's part of this game. You got to get your dice upgraded, but she's getting better at it.
I'm getting better, but I still say a 7.
For me, it's a 10. I will always enjoy
Wow.
playing this. So these two are
Because you
10s.
kick my butt every time.
No, I just like it. I don't mind. Some people have a problem with this game because it's luck.
Yeah,
Okay. This is perfect as a 2-player game because Seven Wonders, the regular game, 2 players, it doesn't work well. But these are both 10s.
okay.
We have the plays to show it. I still enjoy playing them.
Yeah, I do too. I would, if you said which one do you want to play tonight, I would pick this one over this one.
Right, but you'd pick.
But I'd pick either one of these over that one.
But you said this is a 7. This is a 7.
Yeah, it's true. All right. I do like this one better, so I'd
so-
probably make this one an 8.
9, 8, 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That
That's
makes more
fine.
sense. Yeah.
So, like I said, some people have trouble with the luck mitigation. I don't mind it. It's okay. You can get things to help you do it. I like the fact you have three different victory conditions, so you got to be on your toes and has a better
Yes.
player interaction. This is very linear, and so therefore, it's just not as much fun as these other two.
I agree.
And because it says AI art and the stickers, be forewarned, you may not want to get Path of Civilization for those 2 reasons. If you want to take,
Honestly, if
yeah.
I knew about that AI
Yeah.
stuff before we bought it, I probably would have said, no, I don't want to do that.
Well, it's going to be harder to tell more often.
I know.
Okay.
Things are getting so bananas with this AI stuff that you're right. But I don't if you're going to give credit where credit's due, I'm okay with that. But if you're not going to credit the person, then I'm not okay
Well,
with
the problem
that.
is you're using a
That's
database
stealing.
where they don't even they don't know which art they are connecting to in that database.
Oh.
So they probably don't even know. But there are ways to do AI art properly if you actually create a database where the artists get, you know what artists are pulling from,
Right.
and you pay a fee, and then those artists should get a percentage of it. I don't know
I
if
agree.
there's a way to do it properly, which I don't think has really happened yet.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go.
That's our long review of all three of these awesome
Right.
games.
But because I'm such a fan of Civilization games, I'm always looking for anything that can compete with these two. Path of Civilization does not do that yet. There's other Civilization games I have avoided when the complexity rating gets too high and the playing time gets too high. It's just, I don't even want to bother. I might as well play a video game. Whereas these three do give me somewhat of a feeling of playing a video game. But
Don't give me any of the video game
Why you-
aspect at all, but
well, you didn't grow up playing.
I
this
didn't
stuff.
grow up playing with it,
Right.
but I do enjoy them. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed Seven Wonders Duel the most, and the Nation's Dice the second most.
Right. Well, it's because we haven't played these in a while, and when you play them again, you're like, "Wow, I forgot
wow.
how good this design is."
Exactly.
This is just fun because it's dice.
Yeah.
You don't take it too seriously. You know you might get hosed when based on
Oh,
what
I
you
get
roll.
hosed so much.
But this one here, this one here is just the best design out of all three.
I like that one the best.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much, you guys. We hope this helped you decide what you may or may not want to play, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.